Hey guys, so today I was in a really Spider-Man mood and I just kind of wanted to draw him. So here we go. I started out by doing a colored pencil sketch. I didn't know that it was this unerasable, but I did see something by Static Wool. If you haven't seen their channel, go check them out. They're really cool. And I saw that they used colored pencils with Ohuhu markers, and it looked like it blended into the marker really well, and I wanted to try it out. The only problem I had was I had to keep redoing it because the pencil doesn't erase very well. So if you look closely, you can still see where there are faded lines and not very wiped away parts, but once I start inking it, it starts to look better once you get some contrast in there. The references I used for the coming drawing should appear on screen now, if I get my editing right. It's been a while since I've edited a YouTube video. So for this first Spider-Man, I was thinking I would do a PS5 inspired Spider-Man, because recently I've been starting to play those games. I haven't done it in a while, and I thought it would be pretty cool. Yeah. I think it's really funny that when I was looking for references with this image, I was going through Pinterest, and now all of my Pinterest file, everything on my Pinterest homepage is Spider-Man themed. All of the fan art Spider-Man, everything. Doesn't matter that I looked up Star Wars stuff before. No, it's all Spider-Man stuff. And it was just really interesting. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't know what to talk about. I haven't done a long form video like this before, and I thought it would be really cool. I just got these new Ohuhu fine liners that you can see me using here in the video. Later on, I do end up using the colored ones for another Spider-Man that I draw, which I do include the sketch for that one in the next part of this video. The reason why I didn't include myself sketching out this PS5 Spider-Man is because I had to redo the sketch. So originally, it was just going to be this big sketch on a piece of paper. It was just going to be this really big art piece where it was just Spider-Man, and he was like, I don't know, he had his hands behind his head, and maybe he was like falling down. But I messed it up so much that I was like, I'm just gonna restart from the beginning. So I scrolled through Pinterest until I found this cool reference of a Spider-Man doing like a peace sign, and I was like, oh, this could be kind of cool. So I went in a new direction. I decided instead to do kind of like a sketchbook spread thing. So in a second, I should be going, once I finish coloring this one and inking it, I go on to draw some more spider people. Another person that I really got inspiration from, which you'll see a little bit of later, is Shrimpy. I got this idea from Shrimpy to do kind of this orange thing with another Spider-Man I draw a little later on, and it looks really cool, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. But yeah. I really like drawing spider people because they're basically just anatomy figures, and when you get better at drawing from spider people, it really transfers to all your other artworks, because you're just drawing a person without, basically, it's funny to think about, but you're drawing a person with no clothes on. That's basically what you're drawing when you're drawing Spider-Man. And so it helps with building a base around your characters. Right here, it took me a while to find some colors that would work, and eventually, for this part, I realized my shadows are way too similar to my highlights, I guess, or where it's not shadowy, so I go over it again with that dark marker. I don't think it's enough, but I didn't want to mess it up by getting a darker color and having it look really weird, so I decided to just leave it like that. Yeah. I hope your guys' days going well. For me, summer just started, so I'm out of school now. I can focus a lot more on my YouTube channel. Hopefully, I'll be able to edit more videos and get some stuff out onto the channel. I don't actually know if I'll be doing more stop motion videos or more art videos. I don't know which one people seem to like better. I like doing both. I like animating, and I like making art pieces, so I hope I can combine both of those skills together, because I did try 2D animation at one point, and it went okay. Like, I've animated a few things. It just didn't look amazing, and it's so time consuming. I know it's the same with stop motion, but with stop motion, you have something in your hands. You have something you can actually like pick up and move around. You don't have to redraw stuff every single frame. And it just kind of gets annoying when you think like you have a good design for a character and then you can never draw that character the same exact way again. And that just kind of messed me up. So that's why I don't do as much 2D animation. So once I'm finishing once I finish doing the Spider-Man's like lenses, I think next I grab this blue pen. No, okay, I do that part, yeah, and then I do a little more of that, and then I just decided to say whatever. I'm just gonna color in the whole thing. Hold on, in a second it should happen, and there it is, the fatal mistake. I should have just left the suit the way it was, but I saw this design on one of the Spider-Man 3D models, and I was like, hey, I should maybe try to add that in. Biggest mistake I ever made when doing this drawing. I hate how that turned out. And I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to make the lines smaller, but there's like nothing I can do. So eventually I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to shade in the whole thing and hope for the best. So I'm doing that, and I'm trying to layer it, and like the paper is getting like wet. It's getting soaked, and it's like bleeding through. I'm so happy I have a paper on the other side to like help catch it, so that it's not bleeding through the whole sketchbook, because I swear that's what would happen with how like dense and wet the paper was feeling. And I decided to like try to connect it to the end of where like the Spider-Man symbol is, and I did it on both sides, and there was just no saving this one. It was kind of sad. So next I asked one of my siblings, actually I asked two of my siblings, hey, what kind of Spider-Man should I draw? And one of them said Spider-Man Noir, and I was like, oh, that would be really cool. So here I found like a Spider-Man Noir reference, and I drew kind of like what I would think. I just drew like the outline of his trench coat with this kind of little wraparound thing on the inside. I don't know what you would call it, but I tried to draw buttons on it and they were just way too big, so I just said whatever, and I decided not to do that. I also always have a problem with heads for some reason. Like, if you saw me try to sketch the PS5 Spider-Man, it did not start out well, because the head was way too big. But after I'm finishing drawing a head, if I just stop and I erase the top part of the head and then I just make it slightly smaller, it's like the perfect size. I have no idea what it is, but for some reason it works. For this Spider-Man, I decided not to use colors because Spider-Man Noir is in black and white, so I decided to go for that black and white aesthetic with a side highlight on it, which you'll be able to see in a second after I finish inking it. The inking process I like inking drawings, especially with these new Ohuhu fine liners, and it's just really cool. I love these. I bought them, like, when I say I bought them recently, I mean I bought them 2 days ago, and they have been working so well. I did a practice drawing with them, and this just, I did it was in the Deadpool short that I have up on the channel, which if you haven't seen it, check it out, the Deadpool drawing. I think it was pretty cool. The only thing I do have to work on, though, is my anatomy and where things are in a space, because the hands on it are like way too small compared to the rest of the body and where it's at, and it looks a little off. But if we go back to the Spider-Man Noir drawing, I really like the blocky shadows. I got that from this artist, Ali, I think that's what he is. He does these really good graphic drawings, and he loves to block in his shadows. I think that's the word for it. So he blocks in the shadows, and then he colors inside of them, and that's what I tried to go for here, instead of doing like a smooth blend on it like something Shrimpy would do. I tried to go for a smooth blend on it, and then I just added a little bit of and I thought the design was just really good, and so that's what I was working on here, different ways to blend art, and it looks pretty cool. My favorite part about the Spider-Man Noir is that little highlight going down the side of his face in the fedora. Funny thing, when I was writing Surprise Attack, I forgot how to spell attack. I was trying to decide if it had one T or two T's, and eventually I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna look this up. So I did, and turns out I was right. It had two T's. So for this next drawing, I asked one of my other siblings, hey, what should I draw? And she said, do Miguel O'Hara. And I was like, that is an awesome idea. But wait, look, as you can see here, I just erased the top half of that circle for the head, and that's because it was way too big. But the second I shrunk it down, it looked so much better, to me at least. I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Did it look better, or should I have kept it the same? Another thing that happened was I keep redrawing this face so many times. Like, I swear, I could not get the Spider-Man 99 look down. So I had to look at this reference so many times. I was like, wait, is it longer here? Is it shorter here? Is there like this little curve thing up there? Yeah, that's when I realized there was a curve thing there. I just erased the entire thing. And I was like, yeah, okay, we're starting over from scratch. So once I decided to put a guideline there so they were at least the same height, and I figured out there's this little hook thing on top. I had no idea where that was supposed to come from, but it's like it does this weird hook around kind of thing. And I redrew the Spider-Man 99 so many times. It was so annoying to get. It's not even that hard of a design. I don't know how I messed it up that many times. But this on the right side of the Spider-Man 99, I'll get to it in a second. But it seems, looking back on it now, it looks like it was up way too high. Like the angle for the top part right here, it's too high up. It's too big. It's not thin enough. The lines are too spread apart. And I didn't really like that, but it's okay. We make do. So I didn't realize it at the time, but it was a little messed up. And I was looking at a reference, and he has like these spider limbs coming down what do you call them? Hold on, I'm having a brain fart here. His traps. Yeah, he has the Spider-Man symbol coming down his traps, and it's looking pretty good. And then once I started inking it, I started to see the vision. And I decided to enclose him in like this kind of like box shape, like he's looking through Spider-Man Spider-Verse portal. And this is when I start using those colored fine liners, because I thought they would look really good for this. And I think I was right. I think it looked pretty good. I got this orange out, though, for the insides. And I was going to make the inside part orange and, like, the outside part red to try to make it a glowing effect. But while I was doing it, I kind of messed up, and the red tip was just too thick for it. So at first I'm like, oh, this could look good. And then while I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, it's not going to look good. It looks pretty bad. So I decided to just color it all in with the red. And then eventually, but the red did blend in a little bit with the orange, and it made it kind of a better color for a glowing visor almost. While I'm recording this audio, my foot just fell asleep. It's making me mad. But yeah. So here, I'm blocking in these shadows, and eventually I do realize it. I think I realize it in a second here. But the purple shadow on the side of his face is just way too big for what it is. It's just way too large. I did not want the light source to be that effective. So as you can see here, I go back over the darker parts with the blue. And then after I do that, I decide that, hey, the purple is too much, so I go back over it in a second here. And there it is. And I'm just blacking a little bit more of it in, trying to get those shadows to be a little bit better. And I think in the end, it turned out pretty good. I like the shapes I used for the shadows. They look pretty interesting. But yeah, in the end, the purple was way too much. So I took inspiration from a Spider-Verse background when Miguel's stepping through the portal, and I wanted to make it kind of orange and yellow. So I made half of it orange and half of it yellow. I'm so original, I know. And I used these fine liners to add some details. So on like the border, I used an orange fine liner, and then I used a yellow fine liner. And then I draw these little shapes inside of it when I'm done outlining the whole thing. And I don't know if the yellow one actually worked going on top of the orange fine liner or the orange marker. I think it just made it look more orange rather than making it look yellow. Anyway, and for the next one, I was thinking this is going to be the last Spider-Man. I don't need to draw another one. So I decided to make it Miles Morales, since I was starting to go down a Spider-Verse path once I drew Miguel O'Hara and Spider-Man Noir. It's like, you can't have a Spider-Man Spider-Verse spread without Miles. So I was thinking, what if he was hanging off of like a building or something, and he's just had like a really bad day. He was fighting villains, and he was like, yeah, I'm done with this. So he's just hanging there thinking about life. I decided to do kind of like this web thing where he's just attached to, I don't know if it's going to be like I don't know if it was supposed to be like a beam or an overhang from a building, but I think it ended up looking pretty okay. So I found a reference of Spider-Man's suit with like a jacket on it, and I thought that looked really cool. And he's in the reference, he's also wearing these cargo shorts, which I thought was really awesome. Like, I never realized that while he was wearing the jacket, he was also wearing these shorts. It just gives it, I like when spider people have like normal clothes on over top of like their Spider-Man suit, so you can still see like the mask and maybe the symbol in the middle, so they're not wearing a shirt, but they're wearing like a hoodie or something, maybe a zip up. I think that aesthetic's just really nice. And one of the biggest problems I have is drawing shoes. I hate drawing shoes. I could never get them right. If you look at them, they're so blocky and chunky. It's just really awkward, and I hate doing it. But, you know, we make do. So while I was outlining this one, I decided to make it a little bit more sketchy so that it kind of gives that Miles Morales kind of erratic, kind of, I don't want to say rebellious, but it's like, it's not really glitchy. I don't know how to describe it. You know how it is in the show where the lines are kind of everywhere? Maybe glitchy is the right word. I wanted to make it kind of glitchy. I wanted to make it a little bit more messy, and I think it ended up looking pretty okay in the end. Once I got that, the I don't know, what do you call the Spider-Man eyes? Would you call them a visor, or would you call them like a lens? Oh, a lens, that's what it is. It's a Spider-Man lens. One time I was drawing the lenses, I was like, I could make these lines way thicker so I can give them a nice outline. So it's almost like I don't know what you would call it. It just makes it pop more. It's just a little bit more bold, and it makes it stand out more up against the white paper. So I got back the red fine liner, and I decided to go at it and draw I decided to ink in the visor part. No, not visor. The lens, the outside of the lens, which is red. And then I did the Spider-Man symbol in the middle of his chest, which I thought looked cool. I wanted to originally make some of the highlights on him like a really dark purple, but I decided against it once I figured out that the purple was too light and it didn't really go with the gray, which I could have checked sooner, but I didn't. But anyway, the green jacket I thought was pretty cool, and part of the reason I made it a green jacket was because all throughout 8th grade, like a few years ago, throughout 8th grade, I would only wear this green jacket, and that's how everyone knew me. They were like, wait, yo, where's your green jacket? Where's your green jacket at? Like, I went to high school, and the people I knew from 8th grade, they were like, Zach, this is the first time I've seen you without a green jacket. Where is this at? And I have to be like, yep, I'm not really wearing it that much anymore. But just to pay homage to the green jacket, I slapped it on a Spider-Man. For this text bubble, I was going for kind of a purple and blue glitch effect. This one is actually a glitch effect. It's got the purple and blue fine liner. And I tried to go in with a white. I think I cut it out of the video, but I tried to go in with a white. And it didn't end up working because the fine liner, it's just like, I don't know what happened with it. It just did not want to go. It just didn't want to work today, I guess. It didn't go over the Ohuhu fine liners. Alright, so I was looking at this space, right? I was looking at the open space, and I did not like it at all. Originally, I did my signature at the bottom, and I was like, I think I'm done. And then I was looking at it for a solid, 5 minutes, and I was like, wait, I'm not done. This doesn't look that good. So I was scrolling through Pinterest and YouTube, and I found a Shrimpy video. And in this video, he does this Miguel O'Hara art spread. If you haven't checked out Shrimpy, you should definitely look at Shrimpy. And his art's amazing. And he's kind of what got me into the Ohuhu markers. And so he does this Miguel O'Hara spread. And on it, he's got this cool orange and yellow kind of portal effect that, the portals that Miguel walks through and all the Spider-Verse people they walk through to get to other dimensions. Yeah, so he drew that, and I was like, oh, that would be so cool. But I didn't want to copy it. So instead, I did kind of this web design. And the orange, I think, looked really good. And I think it makes it almost look like the web is glowing. And either way, it gives it that Spider-Verse kind of design. So for Miles, I decided to go along with the Spider-Verse vibe, and I was like, you know what? In this one scene where they're all going home at the end of the movie, you can see these dots in the background, and it's coming from the interdimensional portals, and I thought that it would look like really cool background. And while I was on the subject, I was like, okay, so Miles has something that relates to him, Miguel has something that's kind of related to him. I wanted to do something for the rest of them. So I made the PS5 Peter Parker, and I wanted him to have the pigeons in the background from that one mission with the birds and the old man that was the homeless guy. I can't remember what his name was, but he dies in that mission. It was kind of sad. Sorry for the spoiler. But so just to represent that, I did the pigeons. And then for the Spider-Man Noir, we obviously had to do the iconic Rubik's Cube. At the end of the movie, he's like, I don't understand this cube, but I'll understand it someday. So I decided to draw it. I used yellow, blue, and red as the colors. You can see it in the corner of there. I brought in my actual cube, and I was like, okay, how should I draw? Where do these colors actually go? So I figured that out, and you know what? In the end, I think this drawing looks pretty cool. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you next time.